gaming?
Yes, I would. Let's take chess for instance. We play chess as a two-player game and strategy game. But if you actually look at the chess game, you see that there are stories everywhere. It tells you about a time where the king can't, really do much during the war, and the queen can do so much. Look at how the queen moves, and it tells you about a time where religious leaders were directly involved in wars. Like you have your bishops going to war, and it tells you about the knights, how a pawn gets to the other side and is knighted. So yes, I actually strongly believe that board games, tabletop games in general, tell stories. If you look at games, some of the games we've designed ourselves are actually based on folklore in Nigeria, and they're actually games about folklore across the world, folklore in Africa. That one is a long story, but actually thinking about it now, it came out of a need. I've always wanted to design games since when I knew what it was that I do, and it didn't stop at just designing game and making them, but we wanted an atmosphere where people can play games, people can talk games, people can see games in different light. And I remember then we would always go to cafes around Abuja or Port Harcourt or in Lagos, trying to get people to play games. And you Google, thank you for internet, and we saw that there are places, there are rooms that are just dedicated for just tabletop games. I would say, why not have something like that in Nigeria? And then we did a crowdfund on Indiegogo. We promised backers that we reward them with games that we made at the time. And then a social amount would go into setting up the cafe. And yes, the rest they say is history, but I think that's pretty much how it started. We did a campaign, we saw what we wanted, and now we have it. In a word, roller coaster. Okay, those are 2 words. But there's the passion side and there's the business side. And we have to be very careful when we tell people about the growth of the industry. When it comes to the passion side, it's evident that it's growing. I remember when I looked right and left, and I probably was the only designer I knew then. But now I can I can list about 13 Nigerian designed games, and being in a cafe has shown me data of growth. I know how many people that used to come before, and now I know how many people that come now, and the growth of game nights everywhere. If you check online, you probably see a post about a game night in a part of Nigeria. So in passion sense, board game or tabletop game is growing, and it didn't die, to be honest. Since we were born, there are those old classic games that you see around, and parents still pay tutors to teach their children chess. I can't say that about other forms of play, but parents still do. Now, when you talk about the business side, there are subcategories. There's the old classic. Up to today, you still see people that sell Ludo. If they were not making money, they will not be selling up till today. And you see people selling words, you see people selling Scrabble, Monopoly and all. And it shows that there is an economic opportunity. And then talking about the categories now, old classic, now we also have the modern games. Now the modern games have gradually started entering the market. And people are looking for party games, to spice up their party. People are looking for strategy games. People are looking for family games. So these are indicators that says the game industry is actually good in Nigeria. It is tricky. Just to be clear, will I be the only one in the island? If I'm the only one, then I should be looking at solo games I can play alone. But if there are people in the island that have to take games to them, it's still difficult. But off my head, I'll probably go with I'll go with a 2-player game. I'll go with a solo game, and I'll go with a group game. Possibly a game that I can play in teams. So I just want to be prepared in case I see, I don't know which situation I'll be in on the island. I want people to know that the tabletop games industry, which board game is part of, is a huge opportunity. An opportunity to have fun, an opportunity to learn something, and an opportunity to secure people's livelihood. The data are there. The industry is worth billions, and the industry provides an avenue for people to use their skills or their creativity. It's an industry that you just want to belong in. It's an industry that you play and you earn, and you also impact in people's life. And I want people to know that games, there are stereotypes that we've built around games over the years. And these stereotypes, like we are learning, that stereotypes are just a single part of the story. Games are not just chess or Scrabble or Ludo or the rest. There's so much more, so much more that is there to games. There's just last year over 4,000 games were released. And games are not just for kids, and games are not just for intelligent people. Games are like, I usually tell people that, just like movies or music, games have genres. If you're not into strategy games, you probably want word games. If you're not into word games, you like war games. If you're not into war games, you like dexterity games like Jenga games you can build. If you don't like games that take hours to play, there are games that take few minutes, as small as 5 minutes to play. So people should know that games, there are so much more to games than the stereotype that we've built over the years.
A 10-year-old Nigerian refugee, Kenechukwu recently became America's newest chess master. We likely have other chess prodigies like him over here. What will you tell parents to encourage them to unlock the potential their children might have in chess or other games?
I remember I actually read about his story, and I'm actually happy. And I'm not surprised, because these are things that games do. Chess is just one of those games. I think Nigerian parents already know the effects of playing, especially parents that probably have provided their children with more opportunities. They understand the importance of play learning. We even call it gamification, right? I think parents should more like take it more further, because there's this stereotype that if you can play chess, then you're very brilliant. And now I'm not saying that's a lie, but what about other kids that are not interested in playing chess? It doesn't mean that they are not intelligent as well. So I think what I'm trying to say is that parents also recognize that other types of tabletop games are also effective tools to build children's capacity, to build children's development, and also for them as well to have fun. I know I've played games that have taught me about countries. I've played games that have taught me about finance. I've played games that have taught me about strategies, about bluffing and all. And these are things that I'm not sure I would have learned them in a classroom.
Are there other Yes,
most definitely. Like I said before, there was a time if I looked left and right, I probably was the only designer, but now it's no more. I want to give a shout out to Femi from Central Game, who is the person shooting this video right now, the designer of Instant Words and Instant Series. Also want to give a shout out to Ideology, the designer of Interstate. I want to give a shout out to Best Man Games, the designer of the Bible game Saints and Sinners, and the distributor of Monopoly in Nigeria. I also want to give a shout out to LinkedIn Entertainment. I think she started Children's Cafe. Like, I've not been there yet, but it's a cafe where children go play games in Abuja. And also give a shout out to Forerunner Games. Yesterday, she is the designer of First Mention Game, Dancer Game, and also the owner of a cafe in Ibadan. And who else am I missing? Games and Chill in Nasarawa. Shout out to them. Play Zone, Abuja. There's so many people that have actually now started coming in to build this industry, and that's what we want. Giddy games, culture games. Shout out to everyone.
Is there any celebrity of chess with?
There are so many celebrities I want to play games with, but I'm not sure if I would bring a chess game when I meet them. I'm sure I'm not bringing a chess game. First, I want to play games with Ryan Canizia. It's like, whoa, he has designed over 650 games. So he's like the biggest celebrity. I want to play games with Lico. I want to play game with The Waiting. I want to play games with who should I? Who am I missing? I don't know. These are the people I want to meet and I want to play games with. And obviously from their names you know that I'm biased. These are like what some of the top game designers or game promoters in the world. But maybe I'm talking too much. Hopefully in the future we'll play games with Nigerian celebrities, African celebrities, and we'll probably create a channel for that so that people can watch this. But I mean, it's not a secret idea. You can also start one if you're watching. Yeah.
Where's your book?
So our cafe, it's called NIBCARD Games Cafe. You can Google it. We're in Abuja, in Guayaba to be precise. What you should look forward to, same old. We always want to be that place where if people come in, they meet at least a first wonder of what the tabletop games world can be, or what tabletop game world is already or can be in Nigeria and Africa. So that's what we're always looking forward to. We don't know how, we don't know what look or what form it will take, but we want that each time people walk in, they are mesmerized. Like, I want you to be mesmerized. This is my podcast cafe. This sounds like an interview question, but I think I want it to exist. Obviously, it should still be existing, but I want it to also exist in people's mind more. I want people to always think back and always talk about memories that they've shared together or created in the cafe. Like in the cafe, we had 2 proposals. So we want in 5 years, maybe it's not too early or too late, but we want those couples share those memories of proposing and accepting the proposal in the cafe and other emotions that people have shared here. So we want people to take our culture and hopefully possibly replicate it in different regions. So that's what we are looking at in 5 years time, in 10 years time, in 50 years time. We want that NIBCARD Games Cafe culture to be in people's home. A touch of that, if not the whole thing. So thank you so much for this opportunity to talk about what I do, the story aspect part of it. Yeah. Cheers.